Hello, this is Yuman and welcome to our vlog. So what we'll be doing is try to create a 3D model of dopamine. So we'll be trying to make dopamine out of styroballs, barbecue sticks, and to make sure that we get all of the elements right, we'll try to paint the styroballs with some paint. So let's get to it. So um, I'll try to use this styrofoam board for our base so that we'll stick or attach or attach rather the structure or the 3D model of dopamine. So I prepared a couple of materials. So I got around 20 small styrofoam balls that could represent carbon or rather hydrogen, and then I got 15 medium-sized styrofoam balls so that it could represent carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen. So what we'll be doing first is paint the styrofoam balls first so that we could easily get or reorganize the structure so that we will easily identify them later on. Okay, so I already prepared the materials so that we could paint our styrofoam balls. So for nitrogen, I'll just use blue paint. For oxygen, red paint. For carbon, let's just use green. And for hydrogen, let's just stick to silver. So yeah, let's just start out painting some styrofoam balls. I'll just start with nitrogen first, since it's just only one. You could just use like plastic gloves if you don't want to put or have paint on your hands.
I see the crystal raindrops fall, and the beauty of it all is when the sun comes shining through to make those rainbows in my mind when I think of you sometime, and I want to spend some time with you, just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
Just the two of us, building castles in the sky. Just the two of us, you and I. We look for love, no time for tears. Wasted water's all that is, and it don't make no flowers grow. Good things might come to those who wait, but not for those who wait too late. We gotta go for all we know. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
Just the two of us. Build
So we are already painted the styrofoam balls, already all of them. So these two should be the. So these two should be the oxygen. This is nitrogen, and all of the green balls 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 should be carbon, and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 should be hydrogen. So let I'll just let them dry for around 10 minutes, depends. And after that, we'll just continue in making the compound. So with that, I'll just use some barbecue sticks, especially these round barbecue sticks, so that'll really look like a bond. So yeah, I'll just use these barbecue sticks to connect all of the balls together so that they can form a bond. So the balls, the styrofoam balls have already been dried. So what I'll be doing right now is just cutting up some barbecue sticks so that we can form the bonds. So what I'll be doing first is the carbon ring in the middle first, and then we'll just stem off from there. So just to make sure I got every bond in equal length, I'll just measure all of them just to make sure. So transition. So what I'll be doing right now is just finishing up the phenyl group, which is these two oxygen bonds, and then just finish up around here the amine functional group. And then after that, the dopamine, the dopamine compound should already be finished.
If we tried just the two of us, building big castles way on high, just the two of us, you and I. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. Oh, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. If the sky
So here, it should already be done already. I'll just need to put some finishing touches, like making sure that the bonds can be seen, like between, like for example, hydrogen and carbon. Half of the bonds, if you can see here, half should be green and the other side should be silver, so that you can see the bonds, and just making sure that everything is fully attached. And then after that, or rather first, I guess, so it'll be much more easier, is I'll just use this styrofoam board just to make sure that we have a stand. So if it's facing the camera, it should be facing this way. So something like this. I don't know how to place a stand yet. I'll just figure that out. I'll just figure that out later on. So yeah, it should look something like this. So just give me a quick minute, and so this should already be the finished um, structure or 3D model of a dopamine, or a dopamine compound. So just to make sure everything is correct, and I already mentioned everything. So this is dopamine. So dopamine is a type of neurotransmitter which makes your body, or which your body makes it from your adrenal glands, and your brain secretes it. So your nervous system uses it to send messages between nerve cells, and it is usually a chemical messenger. So dopamine plays a major role in how we feel pleasure, reward. Like for example, if you get a big win, for example in bingo, and you feel all happy, cheery, you get that sense of pleasure. That's the dopamine kicking in. So it is also a big part of our unique human ability to think and plan. It helps us to strive, focus, and find things is interesting. So dopamine, it is made in the brain, like I mentioned earlier, to a two-step process. First, it changes the amino acid of tyrosine to a substance called dopa, and then into dopamine. So dopamine affects your behavior and physical functions such as learning, motivation, heart rate, blood vessel function, kidney function, lactation, sleep, mood, attention, control of nausea and vomiting, pain processing, and movement. So, like I mentioned earlier, dopamine causes or gives you that sense of fulfillment or desire, pleasure from getting a reward, that rewarding hormone. So, it is a key, or it has a key role as well in mental health. So, because mental health, there's a lot of there's a spectrum to mental health, so it's really hard to pinpoint a single cause of most mental health disorders and challenges, but they are often linked to either too much or too little dopamine in different parts of the brain. One example is schizophrenia or schizophrenia. So long ago, or decades ago, Researchers believe that symptoms stem from a hyperactive dopamine system. Now we know that some are due to too much of this chemical. So, in certain parts of the brain, this includes hallucinations, delusions, a lack of it. In other parts, can cause different signs such as lack of motivation or desire. Another one is ADHD. So no one really knows for sure what causes ADHD or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So some research also shows that it may be due to a shortage of dopamine. This problem may be due to your genes, the ADHD drug methylphenidate or Ritalin works by boosting the dopamine. And in some cases, it is the cause for some mental health related issues that are related to dopamine are drug misuse or drug addiction. Like, for example, drugs as cocaine that can cause a big and fast increase in dopamine in your brain. That satisfied your natural reward in a big way. But repeated drug also raises the threshold for these kinds of pleasure. So dopamine can also occur in other diseases, not only in mental health. One of these cases are Parkinson's disease. So dopamine enables your neurons in your brains to communicate and control movement in Parkinson's. One type of neuron steadily degenerates. So what does dopamine do? So usually, because of Parkinson's, your body makes less dopamine. So that's why there is a chemical imbalance. Like, for example, physical symptoms include tremors, stiffness, slowness of spontaneous movement. The basic symptoms of Parkinson's disease: poor balance, poor coordination. So doctors treat these symptoms with medication that can raise their chemical balance. So what else? Okay, so like I mentioned, dopamine is a reward hormone or pleasure hormone. If you feel low or feel mellow or in the blues, what you can do these are some ways that you can increase your dopamine levels naturally, not just by taking any supplements or drugs. Eat lots of proteins because proteins, like other amino acids, are the building blocks of life. So one amino acid, like I mentioned earlier, tyrosine, it helps in the production of dopamine. That's one. Another one is to eat less saturated fat. So in some animal research has found that saturated fats, such as found in animal fat, butter, full fat dairy, palm oil, and other types of saturated fats, may disrupt the dopamine signaling in the brain, which consume if consumed in very large amounts. Another way is to exercise often. So exercising is recommended for boosting endorphin levels, and one of the more important ways to increase dopamine is to get enough sleep. Because when dopamine is released in the brain, it creates feelings of alertness and wakefulness. So when people are like forced to stay awake throughout the night, the availability of dopamine receptors in their brain is dramatically reduced in the morning because dopamine promotes wakefulness. Reducing the sensitivity of receptors should make it easier to fall asleep, especially after a night of insomnia. So if you sleep early and then you wake up having a good night's rest, there's a build up or not a build up, but your dopamine levels will be in a regular level. So let's talk about the functional groups that are in dopamine, or let's talk about its structure. So first, a dopamine molecule consists of a catechol structure which is a benzene ring, which is this, a benzene ring with two hydroxyl side groups. So these are the two hydroxyl side groups, and this half is a catechol structure. And then the other functional group is an amine group, which is one nitrogen and one carbon, which is attached via a singular ethyl chain or via an ethyl chain. So it took me about 1 day to finish everything about this. I was just, yeah, I think it's looking good despite there's a paw print. I don't know if you can see it. There's a paw print right there, which my dog stepped earlier, and I think it's not really that noticeable, but it should be fine. So, yeah. I use styrofoam balls for the elements, which is carbon for green, oxygen for red, or red for oxygen, blue for nitrogen, which is here, and the hydrogen, which are silver. So if you notice, I don't know, but if you notice, I painted the bonds to its corresponding attached element. For example, if you could see here, you could see here a hydrogen, it is half green, and oxygen. So if you can see the bond, it is half green, half red. To signal there is a bond as well, just to make sure it's much more clear. And hydrogen, and if you hydrogen, which is a silver bond, stating that it is attached. And yeah, so for the bonds, I use just barbecue sticks, and for the base as well, I just use barbecue sticks in a tripod shape. And for the most part, I eyeballed the dimensions, the structure, not the structure, I followed structure on the internet, but like the measurements, I just eyeballed most of them. This is the front portion, and if you see in a top-down view, there is somewhat of a depth there. You can see the ethyl or the amine group is protruding forwards or facing towards you. So this is the back side, the one look. And I just painted the base or the bottom part orange, just because that's the only color I have left. So yeah, I think that should be on. So yeah, thank you for watching, and once again, this is a dopamine molecule or dopamine hormone, which makes you have or get that pleasure or sense of pleasure or sense of reward. And this is Ewan again, Miss Liada signing off. Thank you.